Okay.
Good evening and welcome to the Eureka Springs CAPC Regular Meeting. Note, that was the wrong date. December 21, 6 p.m. And let's do roll call.
David Avazino.
Present.
Colin. Christopher
Clifton.
Thank
Present.
you. And Stephen, you're not Stephen, you're Steve Holyfield.
Present.
And Chris Jones, present.
Okay, thank you. Great job on the workshop, everybody. That was a lot crammed into 2 hours. Everyone did a great job. All right.
As an amendment to the roll call, though, I acknowledge that Bradley Tate Green is not present.
Oh, thank you.
He's absent.
Thank you. Yes. Moving on to approval of minutes.
I move
Motion
we
to
approve the
approve the
minutes for
minutes.
the November 16th, 2023 regular meeting.
Second.
Okay, I've got a motion by Steve Holyfield. I'm just always going to do that. And a motion by Steve Holyfield to approve the November 16, 2023 minutes, seconded by David Avanzino. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And approval of financials. We've got, so if I understand correctly, I think we approved financials that weren't closed in the last meeting for October. And so these are officially closed and we need to.
That's correct.
approve, right?
That's absolutely correct.
We had the almost closed version. We got ahead of ourselves. Any comments or questions? We can see we're over budget year to date at that point.
Yeah, we're over, but at that period closing October, January through October, year to date, we were over budget by $86,916 or 5%. If you compare January through October of this year versus January through October of 2022, if you compare them, we are, for this period of time, we're $128,598 ahead of that same time period, or 8%, which that's good numbers.
Yep. I know we've discussed some of this last meeting. Any discussion?
Our collections are all up to date.
Yes, they're correct right now, as of right now.
We did have discussions about two businesses that have been operating this year, lodging specifically, that did not pay, correct?
Registered letters were sent this afternoon.
Okay. So maybe the next, we just had those conversations, but the next meeting, we should list those for commissioners to see in an update.
On the very last page, D1, there's two businesses. Just listed, I don't know what that's.
Where?
Very last page.
Oh, those are delinquent, right?
Those are the ones that-
Weren't they on the list last time? Got it.
Number one was, I don't remember number two.
Number two is, number one, I believe may have gotten caught up. I don't remember right now. I've looked at so many things. I'd have to check that one.
What are they?
Pardon me?
What are these? What are these two? Are these
One's lodging
delinquents?
and one's,
Yes.
These are delinquent?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
the one's, number one has been on there for a while, right? And it's been
Yes.
catching up.
Well, in Eureka, it's, I hate to use the word common, it is not unusual for businesses to pay once every 6 months. And I don't know how they got in that time frame, but that's the way they want to do it, and they don't care what the consequences are.
Yeah.
Pretty much that. But they're very insignificant revenue sources for us. The whole total 6-month income might be $100 total. So they don't feel like they want to I'm assuming a lot here, they don't want to file on a monthly basis because it's just not worth their time to fill it out. Pretty much what I think.
If they don't do it for 6 months, there's no consequences for it?
There should be penalties in place.
I can't hear you.
There should be penalties in place when they don't file every month.
Well, when they file a return and it's, let's say, for 1 month, $50 gross, and the sales tax on that would be $1.50. A 10% penalty on that would be 15 cents. So that's what I'm dealing with. That's what I'm dealing with here.
Yeah,
And then you got Scott's time to waste it on it. I mean, I get it.
but I'm just looking at number one, thinking that I find it really hard to believe that,
That's what I was about to ask.
I didn't even know they were open,
So-
but,
Yeah, I was
well,
going to ask.
there's
is
two.
yeah, okay.
So,
I'm starting to receive here in December, those taxpayers that pay or submit their sales tax returns once every 6 months. And they've done that for years, and they're not going to change. I've talked to them, and they're on time with the way they want to do it. But these people, these businesses are the ones that have $50 in sales a month situation. So in talking with them, I feel like if they're paying, they're constant, I've got, what else do? You want to take them to court because they're not paying, they are paying, but they're not paying on a 30-day basis for $1.50. I don't see the,
How long do they have to go before they lose their license? A year?
Well, we don't even, I don't think there's a, Mike might know, I don't think there's an automatic mechanism for something like that. I think that's a process.
Now, the B&Bs, if we don't put in a report every month.
There's a couple of things there, and one of them is called the state sales
Okay.
tax. When you stop remitting your state sales tax, then other things happen to you that we really are kind of minor. But when the state comes in and starts taking a look at what you're doing, then you are in trouble. Similarly with any organization that sells alcohol. If they are not paying their tax, then we, as an organization, and certainly the state, can go back in and notify the alcohol ABC that they're delinquent.
But he's
And
talking about yanking their CAPC permit.
then, we can. It's a process.
But there's
Generally,
not like a XYZ, you lose it. We gotta.
It's based upon what this commission wants to
Right,
do.
right.
Really. So that's the way you have to do it. There's a number of ways it's been done in the past, and one was just basically to go ahead and try to, the register letter, the visit, if it's an audit that can happen, that's one thing. The other thing eventually is at some point, you can go ahead and put a big giant piece of tape over their door that says closed because of failure of CFBC taxes are not paid. You can do that. We did that in conjunction with our PD, just to be on the safe side, and that generally will alert people. But it's to Scott's point, sometimes you're chasing a buck, and I don't know really what that means other than to shut them down completely.
well, I do have some ammunition. If I've got a delinquent, meaning more than 30 days past due, actually 60 days, 45 to 60 days past due on a sales tax collection, and they're selling alcohol in this town,
Yeah.
I will call ABC immediately, and they'll be out here in about 2 days to make a visit, and all of a sudden the sales tax return shows up. But
But
by
those are
that,
bigger payers.
they're the, then at that point, they get on ABC's list.
Yeah.
So, and then if I have a situation similar, but with a non-alcohol permitted business, I will call the Arkansas Department of Sales Tax Division and put them on the radar. And they'll do a behind-the-scenes audit for me. So there's things that go on that if you decide you're not going to be current, I'll turn you in.
Scott, so number one on the list of two businesses, is that one of the ones that's religiously like that?
Yes.
And are they the ones also making that little amount of money a month?
It's not. I would say it's probably around $500 a month on that first business.
500 a month?
For a hotel?
Because that'd be
I'm going on my
15,000,
memory now. I
right?
don't have that in front of me.
I don't,
Maybe it's,
I mean, I don't know that much about them, but I don't think they do.
they don't do,
Maybe
it's,
in big months.
let's put it this way, they're very weak, and the entire population of businesses, they're on the weaker end of sales. If that makes sense.
I don't, how many rooms they have, do we know?
I want to think 8.
8 rooms?
Uh-huh.
Okay,
It's not,
yeah, so they're not doing much money.
now you have to remember, that name, there's about 3 or 4 businesses in town that have that same name that are very close, maybe a different spelling. Really? Seriously? So I have to be careful when I post tax returns because, you know, if you get in a hurry, you can make a mistake.
A few businesses around town like that.
Yeah.
Okay. I move we accept the financial report as presented.
Second.
Got a motion by Steve Holyfield to approve October 31st, 2023 financials, second by David Avanzino. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Director report, Mike?
On the lighter side, hopefully. It was a great month of activities in December in Eureka Springs, and I will say a great month here at the auditorium just because of the in and out of so many people who have come here. Of course, we had just a tremendous amount of lights that went up over the city over the course of November, December. I was really pleased to go to department head the other day and get a compliment on our staff because of the work that they did with lighting and helping out with parks and obviously Public Works. And there was just a great concerted effort to really make the town look as good as it's probably looked in a long time. So it's very exciting. The other thing that happened was because of Christmas and the fact that we knew we'd have a lot of influx of traffic in here with movies and so forth, we did upgrade our projection equipment. We did spend $23,000 out of our auditorium budget to put in a new projector and screen. And on the first night that after the parade was over with, people came in and they saw all of a sudden It's a Wonderful Life in full color. And they went, this looks like the Malco. It was fantastic. It was just one of the greatest things we've had in a long time. And because of that, that projector has been utilized all month long with our productions and so forth as backlighting, and it's just been a great asset for us to have. It's something that was long overdue, and because of the, I think, the interest of free movies as a whole by some people within our community, we've got a product that will bring people into the auditorium hopefully year-round to see a movie. They walk in for free. We saw that particularly on the parade because there wasn't a lot for kids to do afterwards, but they came into the theater. They sat down, and at one point there were 75, 80 people sitting there. They're watching the movie, and it was really cool. So I was really pleased with that. So we got to use it for Home of the Holidays, which was a big hit. Obviously, Grand Old Christmas, the Ignite Dance Studio, and other kids that have been in here. It's been a good fit for us. I was invited to the wedding committee earlier this month up at Center Stage. A group of about 20, 25 people showed up for it. Representation from some of our hotels too were there. It was a good meeting. I learned a lot. I listened a lot. One of the things that we were able to articulate was that with our representation with Madden, one of those cultural groups that we're looking at is weddings. And we didn't do a line item, Chris. We didn't do that at all. But what we did do was to suggest that we're paying attention to that big group of people that do get married in Eureka Springs. The fact that there's the parties, the events, just things, and it's a big boost to the community. So this was a group I was pleased to be in front of them. Also this month, the Eureka Springs Artist Art Gallery opened up at the community center. It had kind of a mini grand opening. What a spectacular place to go see the artists of Eureka Springs that date back to the 1800s. Some of this artwork was pulled out of Beavertown. Magnificent oil paintings representing some of the best of the best in Eureka Springs. Very cool. It was a great reception. I don't know, 75 people showed up for that reception. They will be open all the time. It's just one of the great adjuncts, I think, of Eureka Springs. It's a beautiful museum, state of the art. It's very, very nice. It was good to go to that. We did debrief the Folk Festival. It was a pretty good event overall. I think we probably saw the crevices that we want to work on. As I mentioned, up at the Eureka Springs Historical Museum, they've done a fantastic display that we've taken a look at. We're learning from that. So as we go forward in 2024 with Folk, I think we're going to be able to have a better product. The one thing we did do was secure a domain for it called ozarkfolk.com. It cost us $11. So we now have a website that we can actually start propagating with materials for Folk Festival and things ongoing. I think it's a great event, and it's something that we really need to take a deeper look at. I mentioned lighting of the city. It was a great thing, and Sam's not here. I want to compliment those guys. They did such a great job for us. A while ago, I talked about the first of a series of what I call 58-minute breakfasts. I'd like to have 58-minute meetings, but guess what? So we are going to have 58-minute breakfasts. The first one is scheduled for January 8th up at Mud Street. And these are invitation meetings, and we've already got our invites all taken care of for the month of January. No one has said no, so I'm anxious to see who shows. This is going to be it's going to be a good way to communicate with the community, and really the point is we're bringing banking, educators, stakeholders, just a different variety of people in, small group, just to sit down and talk business about Eureka Springs and what we can do collectively. Back to the auditorium, FYI, Old Crow Medicine Show as of yesterday, it sold 420 tickets, which is pretty good for O's Moo Moo. And I think that with Mr. Schaefer and he and Scott and I have talked a little bit. I guess I'm talking to him almost every day now. He's actively working to try to promote our auditorium and bring in good acts. I can't tell you everybody that's coming in because they're not under contract yet. We just get in big trouble if we did that. But we've already got 6, maybe 7 shows already penned in for 2024, and these are acts that you know. I mean, not people you don't know. So I'm really kind of excited about that. Finally, as we kind of go through this, the 50th anniversary of the Governor's Conference on Tourism is coming February 25th through the 28th in Jonesboro. Staff is going, and I would encourage anybody that would like to go too, please let me know. The Governor's Conference on Tourism is an important event. It brings together all of the stakeholders from across the state of Arkansas into one central location. We learn a lot from each other, but we also see the best of the best from the country. They bring in national speakers, and they talk about the things that are pertinent to tourism and how...
When did you say this?
It's February 25th through the 28th. And it's called GovCon this year, G-O-V-C-O-N, GovCon. 50th. So it's a pretty good event to go to. And if you've never been to one before, I highly encourage you to take advantage of it. So
3 of us went last
yeah,
year.
well worth the time, well worth it. And again, we
Yeah.
CAPC would like to pick up the tab on that for you all. So it's an important event. Any questions other than that?
You told me that, are we added back on what you said, the Arkansas Tourism City of Christmas Lights? Or?
Yeah, one of the things, yeah, this is cool. Because of the fact we made such a good effort this year, it's, of course, the mayor's world to get us back on the Arkansas Trail of Lights for 2024. We've been off for a while. We've been on years before. And again, it's a great tourism activity to be on that path. And it's something we can start to promote because we've got great photo ops right now that we can share, through the state.
Was that covered in the budget, lights, for next year? Adding lights?
Yes.
It was? How much?
I've added money for conference travel.
No, for lights. Christmas lights.
Oh, Christmas, holiday events.
It's in there
Well,
I can't remember the figure is, but we got,
to add
obviously.
to the lights.
The commission approved $25,000 an additional,
I'm talking about for this next budget.
oh, under holiday,
We didn't talk about it, I think.
there's money in there, there's been money added to, I think it was 15 or 20,000 more dollars.
Yeah, I will dig through my notes here, but we did budget for
Okay.
lights for
Good.
2024.
There's additional money
Yeah, it's in
above.
there. That's the one I brought up earlier.
Okay. I didn't hear the light part.
That'll be a part of it.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that we need to ask the question is, what do we need? You know, and that's part of it. The city came up, the mayor came up with some more lighting, and of course, we were part of the Christmas committee this year, and we will continue to do that and find out exactly what the committee, you know, is recommending and what we need. But we have money set aside for some more lights if necessary.
It's heartening to hear that the sales has dropped back down in December again. Seems like every year the city tries to do something to bring the city back alive over Christmas and stuff, and it seems like it just dies every time.
Well, I think you have to start and be consistent as you move from year to year. And this is the first year that we've really gone out and lit our town up for the holidays. And just like Mike and I have talked about the odd events in December here with the movies, we had good showings. But if you do it year after year, you will build on that. So people will start to know, well, Eureka's a place to go and see lights too, or come and visit. So I look at it from that point of view.
And shop.
Lighting the auditorium was a big thing too. Being able to put lights up and around the building was huge. And, you know, we spent some money to do that. It looks fantastic. And, you know, the question is, do we have to take them down? You know,
I think they need to stay up. My personal opinion, they need to stay up year-round and be lit up year-round.
I agree.
Because that's, you drive into town from whatever direction, and bam, there it is.
Yeah. And you can change colors and stuff, right? You can't?
Danielle, we have letters telling that for you.
I thought we bought lights that changed colors. No way. Wow. Okay.
I mean, even the white is fine. It
That
makes a
looks good.
statement.
Next time.
Yeah.
It's the accessories, like a bow.
You need the bow. You need the big bow.
Do we own the lights?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
And what's
The
their
lights.
life expectancy
Do
if
we own
we
them?
keep them
Yes.
up there constantly?
Yeah, those are those.
Well, you
bought
should turn them off at midnight, right?
Well,
put
I
'em
just
on a
mean they're
timer.
being
They're on
in
a
the
timer.
July whenever the UV's super hot on
Yeah.
these wires and everything else is more of what
Good
I'm
point.
interested in.
He will maintenance them.
What I'd like to see us do is when we have an event at the auditorium, whenever it is the lights go on, you know, because
Yeah.
it signifies we get a show going on or something.
Yep.
But, you know, you're right in the middle of summer, maybe at 10:30 at night, it's 104, we'll see.
You need the big LED sign on the side.
It's a lie. It's a lie.
We're working on that one too.
Any other questions for Mike? Any agenda up? Sorry, I jumped. Public comments. Do we have any public comments? Coming up. Funding request coming up. Sorry. Any agenda updates? Okay, now we'll go to funding requests. And is this Full Faith Ministries? Yes. All right. Come on up.
David?
I'm sorry, real quick on agenda request, can we put back on the who's responsible for the auditorium? Is it the city or is it CAPC? I want
For
an
tonight?
ongoing condition. No, I mean for next meeting.
Oh, yeah. No, this is for
Oh, this
tonight.
is tonight?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just call me.
I was-
Email.
Yeah, I want
Say,
to.
agenda
I
request.
just told you.
Yeah, okay, got it. I'll remember that.
You,
And you're Beverly?
Yes.
All right.
My husband would like to be here, but he's sick tonight. So my name is Beverly Blankenship, and I have been in town for 27 years. I'm sorry I don't know most of you. You have all changed and evolved, and I just, know a couple of your names. But my husband and I used to own the log furniture store in town that we ran for 25 years, very successfully. And when we did that, when we had the log furniture business, we knew a bunch of carvers. And so they always wanted to come and visit Eureka Springs. And so we got with the chamber and different people in town and asked them, would you teach us how to run an event? Will you help us? And so 18 years ago, the CAPC and Sleepy's Log Furniture, my husband and I, we started the Carving Festival. And we ran that very successfully for 10 years. I think the CAPC probably helped us back then every year. And they promoted us and they helped us get in the visitor's guide and different things. And, the papers wrote wonderful articles about us, and it just brought people to town, and it was a wonderful event, and it was family oriented, and everybody could go. And the chainsaw carvers start with just a log, and at the end of that day, you see a beautiful piece of art finished. They finish it that first day, and the second day, it doesn't get quite as finished, but then we have an auction at the end of that Saturday. But what happened was we got busier and busier and busier as a business, and people were moving out of town, or our help was stopping. So we handed that off to the fire department, the Eureka Springs Fire Department, to take over, because it was a money-raising event and they needed the funds. And so they took it over. Maybe it was the volunteer fire department, I'm not totally sure, but it was the Eureka Springs Fire Department. So after we ran it very successfully for 10 years, we gave it to the fire department, and we helped them for a few years. And they did it, but they're firemen, and so they didn't have all the support and all the help that they needed or could have gotten or should have to keep it going. And then we had, but they did do it for, they've had it for 6 years, and they had COVID, and then they didn't do it the next year, and they weren't going to do it in 2022, and they asked us, do you have any interest in taking this back over? And, it was such a wonderful thing, and our friends are those carvers, so we called them up and said, do y'all still want to come here? Are y'all tired of it or what? They're like, no, we all want to come there. So for the past 2 years, my husband and I took it back over. I'm the pastor of a church now. So our church volunteered to host it and to volunteer for it. And so we had it at our property in the church out by Holiday Island there 2 years ago. And then the town heard about us doing it again, and they all started calling saying, we want it back in Eureka Springs. What do we have to do? We want it back in Eureka Springs. What do we have to do? And the Passion Play wanted it, and CS Bank wanted it back there. And we used to have it where the barbecue place is next to Echo. Of course, they weren't barbecue places, and it wasn't Echo when we started, but, that was where we originally had it on Mr. Guston's property, because he was a part of it. And so we did it, and we were very successful. And 2 years ago, you guys helped us, and it was great because you gave us money for the visitor guide and for the...
So I got a dumb question. I don't know how big your footprint is of when it's going on, how size-wise. Seems like it'd be awesome to happen in Basin Park. Sam might disagree.
Oh,
but
yeah, it's way bigger than that.
Okay.
There's 25 chainsaws going at one time, all
It's a
day.
lot of sawdust.
And each carver...
I know, that's
yeah,
why I said Sam
each
might not
carver
like it, but
has
it'd
to
be
have
cool.
about, 10 by 20
Yeah.
space.
And that's a lot of sauce.
Yeah, it's a lot of sawdust. So we do it right behind, CS Bank has let us use that property behind them and that parking lot and behind McDonald's. And it's not as visible as being right on the road like we used to be back in the day, but it still brought in a lot of people. And so we're asking that you would help sponsor us again just to get us back going. I mean, you have done it, and I know that you have some rules about it, but it was many years ago, and then there was a stopgap in the middle, and then we just got started back up, and so we're asking if you could put it in the visitor guide, and if you could
What
fund
about the
some
parking lot out
media
here?
advertising for us. And that would be a great help to us.
So it's going to be
Yeah.
back here in town then?
Downtown.
Yes,
In
it's going to
here?
be back at the CS
Yeah,
Bank
yeah. Yeah.
complex.
I move
behind
that we
McDonald's.
approve the $3,000 request for funding for the carving of the Ozarks.
Second.
Got a motion by Steve Holyfield to approve $3,000 funding request for carving in the Ozarks for April 26, 27, seconded by Chris Jones. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
I guess
So
I don't need-
I have a suggestion. Maybe some of these carvers can drive around town and look at all the stumps that have been left behind and make something pretty out of them.
Great idea. That's a great idea.
Our carvers do usually stay, I was going to tell y'all something else, but I don't know if you really want to know about it, but in Russellville, they watched us for years in Russellville, Arkansas, and then they put together an event that's the weekend after ours, and they solicited all our carvers to come there, and they pay those carvers like $500 a piece just to come, and they put it on with their hot air balloon festival, and they must make a buku of money because they pay our carvers to come and do that, and they're coming here because they want to see Eureka Springs and they love us.
If it made sense and Mike and whatever, would you be interested in doing it in the parking lot right here?
Some of the carvers would. They stay the week after our carving festival because then they're going to go on to Russellville, and usually they get jobs from local people and cabins and different places
No,
to come
the
on.
event.
Oh,
In the parking lot right here between us and City Hall. So it's like, bam, showcase downtown.
There's a bunch of issues with that.
you better, if you
we
will
can
think about it,
I've been there, I've done it. I
and
mean,
you come and see what we do.
Yeah.
When we do that in April, if y'all will just come and visit and see how it looks and what we do and how massive it
Yeah.
is, then, if you want to do that for 2025, we can talk about it.
yeah,
Because a lot of people would like for us to be there, and we just want to be where it's going to be the biggest bang,
Well, I think that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
You'd have a
It's
huge
pretty cool.
bang down here.
it's,
Yeah. Right.
it's,
You could, that's,
they did it up at Victoria, Victoria's a long time ago, and they did it up there. Yeah, they did it with the fire department there. It's Rex had a big corner up there by Echo, and of course it's on dirt, which makes sense. But we're talking noise.
so, we got Harleys down here. Haven't you heard about
Well,
it?
that's
He doesn't
true.
live in town, so.
We're talking two cycle
down
noise
here.
though. This is two cycle noise.
Yeah, right.
It's coinciding with the yards and yards itself.
Okay.
There you go.
They're not over here. They're not down here.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
They are approved.
That's a really cool event though.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Beverly.
So commissioner applications, we've,
Hold it.
what? Oh, I'm sorry.
Got one more.
Are you talking about the Questers?
The Questers.
I thought they had asked that this be
Is there any
tabled.
here?
Huh?
I thought that they had asked that this be tabled.
Well, they've asked that it was only because they could not be here and they wanted to try to be here this month. But there's a letter attached that you will flip to page 3 or 4.
Normally,
And a
There's a letter
brochure.
attached to this request that addresses the commissioners.
Yeah, I'm looking at the application and
And they are, they're only requesting $350. And they've already got the flyer, they sent the flyer, that's a copy of what they would do. They're
What's it
showing you what
for?
they do.
oh, to keep history alive.
So they want to host the event here
Correct.
A convention.
if we become a member. That's what this is.
It says convention scheduled, so I assume it's a convention.
No, it's not, that's
It was a convention. And they've been here before. So,
And I'm just looking at yes, they've been around for a very long time, but, looking at lodging room nights anticipated 1 or more,
Right.
looking at lodging place nights in the past 2 years, 2 and 2. Number of attendees, 49 and 27. It just appears to be a drive-up event, and then they go home.
Pretty much. I've been here, but it's not, it's like when, say, you get a certain amount of money to a group that brings 2,200 people to town.
Right.
This is not the group.
I guess I'll go first. I'll make a motion that we deny this request.
I second that.
Do we need a motion to deny it? We don't need a motion to deny
you
it.
don't.
Just don't.
Oh, sorry. Denied.
There you go. All right.
I think if Danielle, if they want to come and talk to us and
Yeah.
present an argument for it.
Usually we don't even listen or entertain them if no one's here.
Yeah.
So,
Because I'm all for history and preservation and all that stuff. And Eureka, that's what we're about. So. But it's hard to understand, exactly what
Yeah, if they
it's
can give us more details on what we get out of the 350.
okay. Commissioner applications, we currently have one seat open. We have 2 applications. Robert Schmidt has spoke to everyone. Brian Weinman has applied. Did I say it right? Okay. And Brian, if you want to have anything you'd like to say? Any questions from the firing squad?
Yeah, how about that, to start with some questions? Anybody have anything? Most of you I know, I graduated high school here, I grew up here, my family's been here since the 1800s.
Wow.
This is my home. I think just with witnessing the budget meeting like this might be one of the best CAPC commissions I've witnessed ever.
We love flattery.
And I would love to be a part of it because I think maybe we're actually going to get some stuff done. But just to the proposal, I was doing the math, like if it was 49 people and they spend an average of $300 for one day each with hotel and visitation, the return to the CAPC would only be $420. So they should probably show up and present. That's how my mind works, and I would just love to be a part of helping y'all. That's it.
Thanks.
Any questions for Brian?
I'd like to move to nominate Brian Weinman for the CAPC Commission.
Second.
Got a motion by Steve Holyfield to nominate Brian Wyman to the open seat for the CAPC Commission, seconded by David Avanzino.
Oh, my God. It's been 12 months. Come on.
Things getting worse.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
So now it goes to City
City
Council.
Council.
for approval.
Which our next meeting's in January, correct? We don't have one yet. December.
So budget, we need to discuss raise information. So we need to go into executive session. And so we need a motion to go into executive session, and we'll need a motion to come out of executive session. So
I move that we go into an executive session for wage discussion.
Second.
you're throwing me a curveball. Got a motion by Colin Polk to enter executive session to discuss staff wage for 2024, seconded by David Avanzino. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Three pairs of pants.
Okay, so we need a motion to return from executive session.
Motion to adjourn executive session.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion from David Avanzino to adjourn executive session, seconded by Steve Holyfield. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Okay, we've discussed budget, we discussed parks, and that piece not being in the budget, but being from reserves. Right?
The parks.
So we're going to need a motion to approve the budget, which will include everything we've discussed, wage increases, and then it also needs to state that the parks addendum be,
That could be this one.
huh?
That should be the motion.
It can be a separate motion, I guess.
Yeah, we need to make a separate.
We'll do a separate
It's
motion.
going to come out of special
Yeah.
reserves.
Yeah.
It probably should come out of reserves with it.
Okay.
Motion.
Different motion. So we need a motion to approve the budget.
I
if
move
that's
that
where
we
we're
approve the 2024 budget as discussed.
Second.
going. Okay, got a motion by Colin Polk to approve the 2024 budget. As we've discussed, no changes, but as listed in our stuff. Seconded by David Avanzino. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so then the parks piece that I need a motion.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we approve out of reserve funds for the Parks Department in the amount of $51,250.
Second.
And a motion by David Avanzino to approve out of emergency funds monies for parks in the amount of
$51,250.
$51,250, seconded by Steve Holyfield.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It comes out of the reserve money, right?
Yep, I said that. So moved. Yeah. I believe I said that. Okay. You got everything?
Yep.
Commissioner comments? Steve?
I'd like to thank everybody for their hard work this year. Thank you, Scott, for everything you've done this year, and Mike. Glad to see you back and see what the future holds. Yeah, so, yep, fingers crossed. And I did go to Home for the Holidays, and I told Danielle I was very impressed with their performance, and also Mr. Maloney here did a nice performance. I thought it was great. I loved that concert. It's really, it's neighbors performing for neighbors, and the fact that we don't charge, we raise some money for the food pantry. $400, I think, was fantastic. I think that's a perfect example of how this community gets together and works together, and I think it's great. Okay. Merry Christmas, everybody, and happy holidays.
David?
Yeah, I would like to, first of all, thank Devin over at the Chamber and the staff of the CAPC for, gosh, everything that y'all have done for the holiday season. The lights are amazing. It's good to see that people are starting to get back into the mood and the cheer and all that good stuff. With that being said, I'd also like to thank Black Hills Energy for sponsoring a lot of the events that went on in town. Lacey Wilson Moffitt for all the Jeep Jam, or I should just say Jeep stuff that she does, because it's a lot. Also to all the retail shops that decided to stay open for living windows. I think that was a lot of fun, and those people that actually saw them really appreciated it. So next year I hope we get more retail shops that can participate in that. Oh, wait, sorry.
Psych.
I almost forgot. Sam and Susan, the entire Parks Department. I have never seen the parks look this good. They look amazing driving around. And I'm almost like, we should just become Christmas City and leave them up year round.
I want to thank the staff at the CAPC. The auditorium, even without a director, is doing great. Even the Christmas movies. It's nice to see this place full of life and energy.
Chris?
Friday, fantastic. Kim. I agree with everybody. It's, town looks great, and everybody's been so happy and jolly and love it. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Great job on helping us get through the budget stuff. I did Cocoa Crawl. I don't know if anyone else did. That's a really good idea that I think will grow. It's kind of cool. Good thing for downtown in the holidays. But Merry Christmas, everyone.
I want to thank everybody. The two main goals we had for the end of this year that we are ahead of is that we had to do a bid to get an advertising agency out. That was tough. And then also the next phase was this 2024 budget. So those two events have been accomplished. And I thank you for, I think Mike and I worked well together on preparing in the future and being realistic with our numbers. And like someone's pointed out, this was a very easy budget, but yet it was thorough. It wasn't just fluff. It's a good budget to work with moving forward. So I'm happy with it.
And I would, let's publish the budget on the website, please.
Certainly.
So
Good
anyone
idea.
that wants to know any of that should have access to it. And motion to
I
adjourn.
move we adjourn.
Second.
Got a motion to adjourn by Steve Holyfield, seconded by David Evanzino. All in favor? Aye.